Okay.
1 second. Okay. So I'm interested in very much learning about you here. I am Thomas Kielbasinski of the Industry Illumination host, and I see that you're a doctor in medicine study. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct. Very much correct.
Wow, unbelievable. So tell me more about yourself, why you got into it, and what you brought you here onto the show.
Okay, so like you said, I'm a medical doctor and I've been working and being more focused in the field of obstetrics and gynecology for the past 6 years. And why this field is because I'm very passionate about women's health. I've been someone who feel women should, get more when it comes to their health because surrounding women, there's a lot when it comes to their health. That formed my decision on getting into medical school. That was even the basis for me because there's no way I would want to, attend to women's health that I won't go through the medical training. So from scratch, I'd always known that I want to do something related to women's health. So that's what, informed that decision to study medicine. And it's been a fantastic journey for me so far. Currently, I do educate women on their health. I have a platform called Dr. Mayor Talks, and the aim is to educate women to disabuse or debunk myths surrounding women's health because misinformation can destroy someone much more than we even think. Just one wrong misinformation about someone's health can destroy a lot. So I educate women, debunk myths on my social media platforms, and from every day to day, meeting women and helping them as much as I can, especially regarding their health.
Okay, here's another
So,
question I'm going to shoot at you. How long did it take to get your doctoral degree, and what school did you get it from?
okay, it took me, averagely it should be 7 years. It took me about 10 years because of some medical accreditation and all, but it took me 10 years in medical school, and I got it from Ladoke Akitola University in Ogbomoso, Oyo State, Nigeria. So that's MBBS Ogbomoso.
MBBS in Blue Motion. What do you mean by MBBS? What's that mean?
Okay. That's a Bachelor of Medicine, Bachelor of Surgery. That's the degree you earn when you're through with medical school here in Nigeria. The
Oh,
Ogbomoso
that's
is
pretty
just,
cool.
yes, that's just signifying where I got my MBBS from.
Okay, so let me ask you something. Have you ever been in any life-threatening situations where you had to use your medical training to save somebody's life?
Oh, every day, every
Wow.
day. So I work in a general hospital presently in Obs and Gynae department, and I've been working there for the past 6 years. And I'm resided in Lagos, so I work with a general hospital here in Lagos, and that's what I do every day, trying to save women from bleeding
That's a
out,
big.
dying, and all.
So you just work. You do. You don't do work on men. You just work on women. Is that what it is, or do you just work on both for?
Okay, so medicine is designed in such a way that there are specialties. I just happen to find myself working more in the specialty of obs and gynae. Not that I can't attend to men, women, men, children, elderly. It's just that I happen to have been working in the field that attends to women for the
Oh,
past six
okay.
years.
Very, very unique. This is the first time I've actually ran into something like this. And this is why we do this nationwide review. So congratulations. You're the first one I've actually interviewed that learned some stuff within the first 5 to 10 minutes of that. That's amazing. All right. Let's get
Thank
on to
you.
some extra questions here. We all know the saying, prevention is better than cure. Yet so many of us are taking our health seriously when something goes wrong. Why do you think that this is?
Okay, firstly, I would like to state that people don't usually just want to be careless with their health. It's not something I would say they are probably like intentionally wanting to be careless. It just might be that there are a lot of factors that comes to play when people tend to ignore their health. For instance, like fear of getting a diagnosis they just don't want to hear about, and then they just tend to chuck it away. Some just because of cultural conditioning, some just because of everyday busy life and all. So the problem is not really about them not paying attention to their health. It's just they tend to downplay these initial symptoms of their health rather than paying attention to it. Some will have this mentality that if I can still function, it's probably not serious, rather than attending to it immediately. So not everybody, I won't want to use the word careless, but really people do delay there are some people who delay in paying attention to their health. And this could just be a whole lot of factor coming to play. I would like to start by saying that, like I mentioned, that there are a lot of reasons why people will delay their health. I'll just mention some of the common factors or common reasons why people delay in seeking medical attention. And that is because every day to day life, busy, they have to work, take care of their children, think of their finances, think of caregiving, a lot on their mind. And then they get to, push down, focusing on taking care of their health down to the list. Some is just because of the fear of bad news. Like if I get to go and speak to a doctor about this, or I go for checkup and I'm being told, probably for example, this looks like cancer. Some people are so afraid of getting the worst diagnosis, and then they feel like what I don't know won't kill me. There are people with such mentality like that.
Well,
And
let me
then
tell you.
some they don't.
Yeah, let me tell you
Okay.
about an experience, sir. So I'm such a stubborn horse's rear end that I went to the doctor. I said, "Your cholesterol is high." I didn't want to hear that. My blood pressure is high. I didn't want to hear that. You're a bit overweight. You don't want to hear that. Well, guess what? That's their job. That's what they're tell you to do. You know what I mean? So basically, I might go to the doctor once a year. That's it. Hear what they have to say, and then I'll do what I got to do. But in all reality, we're not going to live forever if we don't live healthy. We stay away from the
That's true.
fattening foods, cholesterol foods, eat vegetables, fruits, and stuff like that. I've been told it all the time. Run, walk, get the necessary medications to balance out your diet and all that other stuff. But I can tell you what,
Mm-hmm.
that's one thing I've not succeeded too well at. And people need to follow that guideline, even for myself. But it's a hard thing to follow when you're running your own life and you're so used to doing it one certain way. Like me, I don't
Okay.
cook for myself. I go out to eat. I like to go out to eat. I like using DoorDash. I like using Uber Eats. That's all I do with my jobs and stuff like that. So it's hard to just say, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to eat this thing apple and then drink water all day." You know.
Mm,
So I
yeah.
mean, I get your point, but also get where we're coming from too, as well, with trying to
Yes,
shrink our
I
eating
understand.
environment.
I do understand. And then when you have to, meet with your daily demands of activities, that's probably the last thing on your mind. You just want to get your meal on the go. You just want to do what you have to do, and you're just on a roller coaster every day. And then another thing I realize is that some people delay getting the needed health care they need is probably because of finance, the cost of it all. Not everybody's on a good health insurance plan, and not all
Right.
health insurance plan covers everything that probably that person would need. So when
Yeah.
you're thinking about, oh, I have to pay my bills, I have to eat, I have to pay the rent, I don't have any money to give to the hospital right now. It's who
Yeah.
is living that can pay for those bills. So that's another thing that discourages people. And some just tend to normalize symptoms. Like, it's normal, it will go. It's just an headache. It's just a pain. If I take analgesics, I get better eventually. Meanwhile, symptoms are just warning signs.
Yeah.
If you don't attend to the underlying cause, you just realize over time you're not going to enjoy that body, and it gets to a point where you the damage has been done so much that it might be irreparable, or just we're just going to palliate the entire treatment. It's just like a person who owns a car. You know that you should service this car, but you've not been taking it to the mechanic shop to get it serviced. You've been hearing one sound or the other. Today it's your carburetor, tomorrow it's your engine. If nothing is done, one day the engine is going to knock and you can't move with the car. That's just how I see health. So it's something you have to, go from time to time. You don't even have to be healed to check what's going on.
Yeah. I would say the biggest controversy here from the US to Nigeria is that we should have free health care for everybody. But the biggest problem is other countries have it, but we don't. We have to pay out of pocket. Well, unless you're a senior citizen, a Vietnam vet, or someone that has serious money to cover, because like surgeries are not covered as much as they used to be. And serious medical problems like diabetes, pancreatic cancer, all these other, they need to fight for this and then make sure that proper doctors get properly paid, not get, and all this other stuff, but also make it courtesy for customers. So when they come in, that they know that they can either get billed or pay the bill with their insurance. Because sometimes it takes forever for the insurance to get back and say, oh, by the way, we can't pay this.
That's me. The waiting time can be very terrible.
Yeah.
And also the quality of care they get because of its insurance. Compared to someone who is paying out of pocket, it shouldn't be so though. It shouldn't be so, but they tend to get better health care when they are paying out of pocket than insurance, because the insurance company want to try to see, is this person eligible for this kind of care? Does it cover? Is it financially wise to cover this person? But all in all, we're talking about health. We're talking about life.
Yeah. So one of these questions hit right on the nose that we were already talking about, but I'm going to ask it anyways, and then you just revamp on it and add some more examples or research, whatever you know about this. Okay. In your experience, what's the biggest excuse people give for putting off a hospital visit or a routine checkup, and what do you think they really are afraid of?
Okay, I think I would like to answer from the back to the front. I think the greatest fear people have is bad news. They just want to go and hear you're dying, or if you don't do something about this, it might kill you. That's probably the greatest fear people have about going to seek healthcare. And then I think what discourages people also will be that the business, the inconvenience of waiting at the emergency room, if it's an emergency situation, before you even get to see the doctor, all of that waits, or having to wait to book. Like, for instance, you need to see a gynecologist, you have to pick up an appointment like 2 weeks away from the time you book. All of that could be discouraging. Like we talked about the financial part of it, that could be discouraging. And shockingly, some people might have had a very negative past healthcare experience that they don't want to relive. Or probably maybe they had a aunt, a mom, or a sister who had died from one medical health condition, and they think that they're having similar symptoms. That fear is also there, that I don't want to go and hear that I also have this. For instance, if someone who had a mother or a aunt who had a breast cancer, or one cancer, or the other, probably a cervical cancer, things that tend to be genetic, they just don't want to go to the hospital to hear that they have they have the likelihood of having such a disease also. So all these things all put together will contribute to people delaying how they seek healthcare. Some decide to work on home remedies rather than going to seek professional healthcare, like going to see the doctor. They'll be like, okay, I can use this home remedy to, treat this. So home remedies will actually work for the symptoms, but it will not treat the underlying cause of the illness or the symptoms they are having. All this put together, it makes people find it difficult to go to the hospital or seek healthcare, or they delay it till when they feel they have the time for it, or when it's becoming so unbearable and evidently showing on their body that they need healthcare. That's when they find themselves at the hospital, and that's late. And this brings me to the point of it's important to preach or to make people aware of the power of preventive healthcare. It's not just about avoiding disease, it's about us protecting the quality of life, catching problems early, and then this will make treatment simpler, even on the hand of the doctor and on the hand of the patient. For example, regular blood checks can help detect someone who has hypertension before it causes probably a stroke or kidney disease or heart complications. Or, for example, another example is a woman who goes regularly from time to time for a cervical screening. It can help catch on time if she's predisposed to having such, or if it's at the early stage. Things like routine blood sugar check, cholesterol check to help catch on time. So I'm always preaching that, I'm always advocating for preventive healthcare. It's something that is so powerful. It's often less dramatic than emergency care. Is less dramatic than emergency care. It is a powerful form of healthcare that if we can make people aware that preventive healthcare is powerful, it will go a long way in the outcome of people's health generally.
Okay. Okay, we're going to jump to a question here. As a physician, have you ever met a patient who made you think if only they hadn't come to sooner without sharing personal details? What did the experience teach you about the importance of early action?
Oh, so like I said earlier on, this is something I deal with every day. And most of the time, it's always heartbreaking when you know that if this person had come in early, this person's life would have been saved. Let me give you a very practical example without making it too detailed. Imagine a 21-year-old who is complaining of abdominal pain and quite sexually active and all. And then she comes into the gynae ER bleeding, and then we're suspecting an ectopic pregnancy. Meanwhile, she has been bleeding for days. She didn't present on time. And ectopic pregnancy is very life-threatening. That's when pregnancy is found outside of the womb. When pregnancy is found anywhere else outside of the womb, then that's ectopic pregnancy. So imagine that kind of a lady coming in on time when she just had the abdominal pain. Surgery will be done on time. Her life is saved. There's no loss of blood and all. So it's very important, very, very important for people to come in on time when they're having their symptoms. It just might save a life. Very important. I just had to use ectopic pregnancy because it's one of the things I do every day. There are a lot of examples. Someone who has high blood pressure, having chest pain from time to time, should check it out. It just might be that that's pointers to an imminent heart failure about to happen, rather than when the person has collapsed and then there's a need to rush the person to the emergency room. Still, I'm talking about preventive health care. That's like the very, very very important form of healthcare, very powerful healthcare to provide for people.
Okay, sounds great. 1 second. Okay, we have time for one more question. Do you think we've intentionally normalized being unwell? We celebrate being busy, sleeping less, eating on the go, and working through exhaustion. Have we mistakenly burnt out for productivity?
Well, I don't think people are intentionally careless. I don't so believe that people just because everybody wants to live long. There's an average human being wants to bubble with life, wants to stay long. So I don't think people just intentionally want to be careless with their health. They just happen to find themselves so distracted, or how I say it, they focus on the other things of life like work rather than realizing that without health, I mean good sound health, they can't then achieve the other things. I think we need to remind ourselves that it's the whoever who is alive, who is healthy, that's the person that can achieve all the other things you are gunning for. You want to be the best in your career. You want to be an excellent wife, husband. It's when you're alive you can be that. That's just it. It's when you're alive you can be that. People just need to come to that remembrance that okay, if anything goes wrong with me, I will be incapacitated to do all of these things that I'm doing that is not making me have time for my health, which is very important. If the way the world is structured now, everybody is in a haze, especially in the big cities. Everybody is just in a haze. That's why it looks like people who live in the rural area tend to live longer because they are not so much in a hurry to catch the bus, catch the train, get just one meal to survive and feed their hunger pangs rather than eating healthy. So I won't say they are intentionally not wanting to take care of themselves. Just the way society is structured, especially in big cities, it doesn't enable people to want to pay attention to their health. And that's something we should look at. That's something every society, every community, whatever, I think that's what even the World Health Organization is pushing, that people should, tend to take care of their health, not because something is wrong with their health. You go to the hospital for your regular checkup before something goes wrong, not after something is being damaged. So we just really, in a nutshell, we just need to remind ourselves that health indeed is wealth, and it shouldn't be told with. It's something that we should give ourselves as food of thoughts.
So let me get straight to the point about something. Since you're a doctor, I want to ask you about my family history and stuff like this. So just out of curiosity, 46-year-old man now. So we have had people die from cancer, like different types of cancer, colon cancer, pancreatic cancer. My dad specifically from diabetes. So I was shell shocked like last year to find out I have pre-existing conditions of diabetes. What exactly does that mean? Pre-existing conditions of diabetes.
So what that means is you are at a stage whereby if something is not done to control your blood sugar, the complications of diabetes will manifest. So people who tend to have diabetes tend to have family involvement, like probably a father, mother having it. It then predisposes the next generation to having it. What would serve as a preventive measure for people who have, that's why it's very important to know your family history. Very important. Look at the patterns in your family. There are some family that all they usually have a particular type of cancer. So it's going to be wise for whoever comes to check a family tree to have genetic testing done to know if he or she is predisposed to having such and what can be done to prevent such. For instance, women who have breast cancers, there is a particular type of breast cancer, BRCA2 gene. I usually advise women who have mothers who have breast cancers to make sure they check, do they have that particular type of gene? Because if they do, it only shows that they are being predisposed to also having that type of breast cancer. So down to you, the question you asked about you, I would actually advise that you would see an endocrinologist from time to time, regularly, so that the blood sugar can be well monitored. If it's well monitored, one can live a very good, long, fruitful life. As long it looks rigid, but it's just the way to go about it. So I will advise to see an endocrinologist from time to time, knowing that okay, you had a father who had diabetes and probably passed away from the complications of diabetes. So there's pre-diabetic stage before the diagnosis of diabetes. Pre-diabetic stage is probably the person that started showing signs that this person will soon come down with the diagnosis of diabetes. For instance, the range of the full fasting blood sugar should be between 4.5 to 6.5 millimoles per liter. So someone who is pre-diabetic will be having 6.5 to 5.5 to 6.5. That's showing that it's on the high range of normal. And that kind of person would want to pay attention. They might take it further in asking the person to do hemoglobin A1 to check if this person has had the diabetes already or is about to have the diabetes. So they will give lifestyle modification. The best form of treatment most times is lifestyle modification before the drugs. Not everybody can stay on drugs for long. So that's why I always will say preventive healthcare is the best. So I would always advise people, especially in the 20s, study your family pattern, know what's okay, if dad has diabetes, mom has diabetes. It's better before the damage is done. Always better that way before the damage.
All right, sounds awesome. Well, it was definitely great to meet you here today, and thank you for taking your time to put on the show. What'll happen here is that I want your LinkedIn, switch LinkedIn, and then we recommend each other's work. So I praise you for being a great doctor and all this stuff, and then you just go on there and praise about the show and everything like that. And you're on LinkedIn, right?
Yes, I am. I am on
Cool.
LinkedIn.
All right, so I'll try to find you. My assistant will just carry out your name. How you pronounce your name, anyways? It's a very unique name there. What is it?
Okay, so it's pronounced Adesanya, Ademayowa.
Oh wow. Okay.
It's quite
That's
a lot.
that's just about as bad as Kielbasinski.
I had to pronounce your surname, and I think I did. Okay. I hope I get it. Kielbasinski. Did I try?
Yeah, it's one of those things like when you're talking to people over the phone, please get my name right. Shoot. All right. Well, hey,
And
here's the deal. This episode is ended. However, we upload the video to YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, um, Instagram, Facebook, all the pages, TikTok, and your name will be on there. And it should be up within an hour. In fact, as soon as I'm done, I'm going to do it myself. Teddy does the SEO video work type of stuff. So that will go in with her and you'll see up there and people will view it right away. So,
okay, well, on my social platform, I'm known as Dr. Mayor Talks. That's
okay.
what I'm known as because my name is quite a lot to pronounce. So on my social media platform, I'm known as Dr. Mayor Talks. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.
Yeah.
Just to get across to a lot of women, to educate them, I discuss women health just to educate,
Yeah.
and then I also debunk myths about women health. And I also have that platform so that people can reach me and then consult with me if need be and ask questions. because there are a lot of misinformation on Google.
Oh yeah.
Misinformation out there, let me just say. A lot of
Yep.
misinformation. People tend to get confused. So they need the professionals to tell them, okay, this is it, like to sieve the misinformation to know, okay, this is the wheat from the chaff. So that's what I do. So
Yeah.
Dr. Mayor Talks is on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. So I'm being referred to as Dr. Mayor Talks.
And I'm very appreciative of your feedback of what you given a situation on that, because that makes me learn not to be so stubborn headed about that. So, because you never know, not every day is a given day. You never know when you're going to die. You know, you can go out of this world just as fast as you came in. So that's how it goes. We have to definitely keep an eye on our health. But anyways, it was a privilege meeting you, and I will get your contact information through Teddy Blessing, and I hope you have yourself a great day. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I had a fantastic time. Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
I need to thank you.